of it all on Diamond 88.7 FM, Ilorin. Diamond 88.7 FM, we've got you.
You can only get timely, credible, and reliable news on your shining Supreme station. Diamond 88.7 FM, Ilorin. Looking for a reliable, up-to-date source of credible news at all time? Your shining Supreme station is the answer. Stay tuned for the news on the hour by 1 p.m. every day on Diamond 88.7 FM, Ilorin. Shining Supreme.
From the news desk of Diamond 88.7 FM Ilorin, this is News on the Hour.
In the headlines, President Tinubu arrives Kenya for Africa Forward Summit. Federal government exempts College of Education applicants from UTME. Atiku warns opposition against South-only 2027 ticket. Military presence stops Borno insecurity protest. On the foreign scene, Trump rejects Iran's peace terms as oil price surge. And in sports news, Falconets to discover 2026 World Cup opponents on Friday. Good afternoon and thank you for staying with us on Diamond 88.7 FM. Lauren, this is the news on the hour. I am Bisola Oduwole Sulieman. We'll bring you details of the news after this break. Please stay with us.
You ugly. Everybody they post picture for social media. You too they put picture.
Hey, wait, this pikin no even fine. Yeah.
See this bro guy, now your generation dey here.
You probably don't know how much your words hurt, but cyberbullying is real. Words hurt, whether it's in person, from typing, or behind a screen. Just a comment or unnecessary share from someone you know or from a complete stranger can hurt. Words can even end lives. Think before you type. Stop cyberbullying today.
This message is reaching you from Diamond 88.7 FM, Ilorin.
Welcome back from that short break. Please note that you can listen to us via our website www.diamondfm.net or watch us live on YouTube at Diamond FM Ilorin. Now the news in detail. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu arrived in Nairobi, Kenya early Monday to participate in the Africa Forward Summit focused on investment and sustainable development across the continent. According to a statement by presidential spokesperson Bayo Ononuga, the president's aircraft landed at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport at about 12:18 a.m. local time. Tinubu was received by the Kenya's Cabinet Secretary for Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, Musalia Mudavadi, alongside senior Kenyan officials and members of Nigeria's diplomatic mission. The summit, co-hosted by Kenyan President William Ruto and French President Emmanuel Macron, will focus on economic transformation, trade, infrastructure, digital innovation, and climate resilience. The federal government has exempted candidates seeking admission into colleges of education from writing the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination UTME in a major policy shift for the education sector. Minister of Education Tunji Alausa announced the decision on Monday in Abuja at the 2026 UTME admission policy meeting. They said applicants with 4 credit passes in relevant subjects can now apply directly to colleges of education without sitting for the UTME. However, he stressed that all candidates must still register with the Joint Admissions and Matriculations Board JAMB, while their credentials will be screened and verified before admission letters are issued through the Central Admissions Processing System CAPS. The policy takes effect from next year. Still in the education sector, the Nigerian government has also introduced fresh measures aimed at tackling drug and substance abuse in secondary schools across Nigeria, including compulsory drug tests for students and disciplinary actions for repeat offenders. Under this new policy, all newly admitted secondary students will undergo mandatory drug integrity tests as part of the admission process. Students who repeatedly test positive, even after the treatment and rehabilitation procedures, may face temporary suspension from the school. The measures are contained in the National Implementation Guidelines against drug and substance abuse in schools in Nigeria, which outlines strategies to curb the rising rate of substance abuse among students and promote safer learning environments nationwide. Meanwhile, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has advised opposition parties against zoning their 2027 presidential ticket exclusively to the south ahead of the next general elections. In a statement issued by spokesperson Olushola Sani, Atiku described the argument for a south-only ticket as politically risky and intellectually dishonest. He said while the ruling All Progressives Congress APC may choose to retain power in the south due to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's incumbency, the opposition should not adopt the same approach without carefully assessing electoral realities. According to Atiku, politics should be guided by strategy, coalition building, and electoral calculations rather than emotional sentiments or selective moral arguments. The All Progressives Congress in Rivers State has released a list of cleared and disqualified applicants ahead of the party's primaries for the 2027 general elections, with 33 aspirants cleared and 65 disqualified. Among those affected are 32 aspirants reportedly loyal to Governor Siminalayi Fubara, who were all disqualified from the exercise. Meanwhile, 7 members of the Rivers State House of Assembly, aligned with the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, were cleared to participate. In a statement, APC State Publicity Secretary Chibike Ikenga said affected aspirants could verify their status at the party's secretariat in Port Harcourt and file appeals on Tuesday. The screening committee cited reasons including invalid documents, unpaid membership dues, inconsistent personal details, insufficient nominators, and attempted inducement of committee members. The Abubakar Bukola Saraki Foundation has distributed Ashofi weaving materials to local craftsmen and women in Ilorin as part of efforts to support indigenous businesses and strengthen economic opportunities across the state. The intervention targeted men and women engaged in the traditional Ashofi weaving trade, with beneficiaries receiving materials aimed at improving productivity and sustaining their businesses. Speaking during the program, Abdul Momin Mohammed said the support followed requests made by weavers during earlier grassroots engagements, noting that beneficiaries were drawn from Ilorin West, Ilorin East and Ilorin South local government areas. The foundation disclosed plans to expand its empowerment initiatives across Kwara State through agricultural support for farmers in Kwara North and the distribution of solar lights to underserved communities. The organization said the interventions reflect the vision of its founder, former Senate President Bukola Saraki, to promote grassroots development and improve livelihoods. And lastly, in local news, heavy deployment of armed soldiers and armored vehicles by the Nigerian Army on Monday prevented a planned protest against rising insecurity and abductions in Borno State. The protest was scheduled to hold at Filin Polo in Maiduguri, but the area was deserted when journalists visited the venue around 9:35 a.m. Some suspected protesters were seen observing from a distance amid fears of possible confrontation with security operatives. Speaking to journalists, protest organizer Samaila Kigama said the demonstration was postponed due to heavy military presence. He alleged that the deployment was intended to intimidate peaceful protesters and claimed it discouraged residents, including some who reportedly traveled from Ngoshe, from participating. And that's it on the local scene. The news on the hour is reaching you from Diamond 88.7 FM Ilorin. We take a short break. When we return, Trump rejects Iran's peace terms as oil prices surge. We bring that story in foreign news. Do stay with us.
Follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at Diamond 87 FM. Diamond FM, shining supreme.
Welcome back from that short break. If you're just tuned in and joining us, you're listening to the news on the hour, reaching you from Diamond 88.7 FM Ilorin. Before that break, we brought you local stories. Now we move on to the foreign scene. In foreign news, U.S. President Donald Trump has described Iran's conditions for ending tensions in the Middle East as totally unacceptable, raising fears of renewed conflict in the region. Iran had earlier responded to Washington's latest peace proposal, warning that it would retaliate against any new U.S. military strikes and would not allow additional foreign warships into the Strait of Hormuz. In a post on his Truth Social platform, Trump said he had reviewed Tehran's response but gave no details about the proposal. The diplomatic standoff triggered fresh concerns in the global energy market, with Brent crude oil prices rising by 4.65% to $99.95 per barrel during early trading in Asia on Monday. Still in foreign news, the Philippine House of Representatives has voted overwhelmingly to impeach Vice President Sara Duterte for the second time and amid growing political tensions in the country. A total of 257 lawmakers voted in favor of the impeachment, surpassing the one-third threshold required to forward the complaint to the Senate, while 26 voted against it and 9 abstained. However, uncertainty remains over the impeachment trial after Duterte's allies gained control of the Philippine Senate. And that's it in foreign news. Moving into the world of sports, Nigeria women's national under-20 football team will discover their group stage opponents for the 2026 FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup on Friday, following the official draw ceremony in Lords. The tournament draw will be broadcast across FIFA platforms, with 24 countries already confirmed for the competition. Matches will be played in Bielsko, Biala, Katowice, Lodz and Sosnowiec. The Falconets secured qualification for the tournament after a 3-2 aggregate victory over Malawi's Young Scorchers. Poland will host the competition from September 5 to 27 as Nigeria targets its first ever title. Still in sports news, Team Nigeria departs for African Athletics Championships. Nigeria national athletics team will depart for Ghana today ahead of the 2026 African Senior Athletics Championships scheduled to begin in Accra on Tuesday. According to Athletics Federation of Nigeria, the delegation will travel through Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos, while some foreign-based athletes have already arrived directly in Accra for the 6-day competition running from May 12 to 17. Nigeria's squad consists of 41 athletes, including 17 men and 24 women, who will compete in 26 track and field events. The team will be led by AFN President Tonobok Okowa, alongside 10 technical officials. And that's it in the world of sports. With that, we've come to the end of the news on the hour for today. But before we go, here is a recap of the major highlights. President Tinubu arrives Kenya for Africa's Forward Summit. Federal government exempts colleges of education applicants from UTME. Atiku warns opposition against South-only 2027 ticket. Military presence stops Borno insecurity protests. On the foreign scene, Trump rejects Iran's peace terms as oil prices surge. In sports news, Falconets to discover 2026 World Cup opponents on Friday. Before we wrap up the news, we take a look at our Today in History segment. Did you know that on this day in the year 1981, legendary Jamaican reggae artist died of cancer at the age of 36 in Miami? Now you know. For news coverage or information about happenings around you, kindly contact the Diamond FM newsroom number 091 606 526 091 606 526. Join us at 3 p.m. for the news flash and at 5 p.m. for the news across the world for a comprehensive bulletin. Don't forget to log on to our website, www.diamondfm.net, to keep up to date with us from any part of the world. Download our app on Google Play Store and iOS Apple Store, Diamond FM. The news on the hour was put together by Adeyemi Adewale. I am Bisola Oduwole Sulieman. Thank you for listening to your shining Supreme station. Please stay tuned for the news in Yoruba coming up shortly. Good afternoon.